of the national level proposals, we will examine throughout this second part the procedure for developing political choices, during which we will go back and forth to present three related proposals. The first step in developing political choices is to collect ideas, desires, proposals on all fronts: technical, aesthetic, organizational, etc. No censorship will be made at this step. Although we are talking about steps, it must be seen that a step is not fixed over a period, but corresponds to the processing of all the expressions which emerge progressively, and therefore they take place in parallel for each request made. Obviously, once the first requests are completed, they will consume resources and the following will be queued. So it would be preferable, especially at the start, to list the most important requests to make a coherent and effective political choice. The second step will consist in putting in front of each expression its constraints, its difficulties, even its impossibilities. This will be the role of the institutions we are going to talk about now, the national thematic poles and the National Control Center. The national thematic poles, NTP, are established for each theme constituting the field of knowledge. It will be as much philosophy as physics, as cooking, etc. There will not be institutions with majestic buildings and a plethora of directors and other heads of department. First, since there is no longer any hierarchy, there are inevitable no more directors, etc. These institutions will essentially be a grouping of all their elements which will be defined on the website. Obviously, all these elements will have or not a physical place of activity according to their request and what will be allocated to them. These NTPs will consist of 2 colleges and 2 departments. The College of Theorists will bring together all the professors, researchers, etc. who will be specialized in the theory or part of the theory of the NTP. The College of Practitioners will bring together all connoisseurs and practitioners in the field who will want to make proposals for practice or answers to questions posed to the NTP in conjunction with the College of Theorists. The Documentation Service will collect and make available to citizens all the information of the NTP in 3 presentations. 1. Documents as given by the college or to the experts. 2. More explicit documents intended for practitioners in the field. 3. Summary documents for all citizens. The Interterm Service will be responsible to send requests for comments to other NTPs. In principle, the NTPs concerned directly or indirectly by the questions raised. The follow-up of opinions, proposals, collaborations and activities subcontracted to other NTPs. All people wishing to be part of one or more NTP will be integrated. It is the quality of its production that will guarantee its authority. The Documentation Service will not exercise any censorship and will keep up to date, in particular, the pros and cons of a particular issue. Abnormal cases will eventually be treated according to the treatment of incompetence, which will be seen in the third part. So, to return to the elaboration of political choices, the NTPs concerned will make their comments and the possible scenarios. Let us now see the proposal of the National Control Center, NCC. The NCC is made up of many departments. The main role of this institution is to assure the citizens that political choices are respected, delayed, faced with big problems, etc. It is therefore configured with different departments responsible for the aspect of the controls: administrative management, technical achievements, financial, technical, organizational control, and pre-control studies. Concerning the elaboration of political choices, the NCC is responsible for sizing the political proposals and for issuing comments and proposals. An important role of the NCC is to ensure the balance of the international trade balance. The NCC ensures ensures the consistency of consumption and distribution and the absence of anomalies, in particular the passage through the export monetization window. Finally, the NCC intervenes in the treatment of incompetence problems. See Parts 3. NCC staff are volunteers drawn from lists of experts and ordinary citizens. All are trained in the year before taking office. They are appointed for a few years. Let us return to our elaboration of political choices. Once the NTP and NCC responses have been collected, scenarios are drawn up with all the comments, the necessary resources, differences, etc. The political choices are presented to the citizens with proposals for priority. We continue to collect comments from citizens. Once the debates are exhausted, we vote. A vote is made for each project. It is not compulsory. It is up to the citizen to decide. Voting takes place over several days by electronic vote. If a vote leads to aberrant results, imagine some specialists concerned by the vote in question, for example the choice of printing paper, and at the same time the majority of citizens have no particular objections and abstain, but a large number of dum-dums wanting to express themselves reject the project. The vote can be renewed by calling on citizens to come out in numbers. Similarly, a vote can be reorganized if a project does not progress according to plan. For example, if it consumes much more resources than expected, if very significant difficulties arise, if dangerous consequences on the project environment appear, etc. The vote defines social functions, that is to say, the activities which will be listed on the activities exchange and from which citizens will apply to fulfill their obligation of 24 hours of weekly activity, 24 hours being an indicative title. Citizens can organize themselves within their group to distribute their 1,248 annual hours differently. The activity exchange manages the activities items by project and by region. It affects the housing of migrant citizens. It synchronizes needs according to constraints, absences, emergencies, etc. For this, it is in permanent contact with the national transport network and the distribution network that we will see now. The national transport network ensures the transport of people from door to door, including children who are permanently traced. It manages intermodality centers which are capable of accommodating citizens between two connections, as well as providing catering, access to multimedia service, and leisure activities. The distribution network is supervised at the national level, but the main part of its presence is located at the local level, which we will see in the third part. We will now review the local level proposals for this new society.
Close to